Welcome to On the Corner of Main Street, presented by Plaza Hotel and Casino in downtown Las Vegas. Here is Plaza CEO Jonathan Jossel, Gary Vickery, and I'm your host, Lisa Melmed. Welcome back to another episode of On the Corner of Main Street. Welcome, Jonathan. Welcome, Gary. How are you guys doing today?
Good. I'm very excited to be here today. Jonathan, how are you today?
I am doing very well. Thank you. Thank you for asking me. And I am very excited to be talking about what we're going to be talking about today, because as we are recording this, we're a couple of days out from the grand opening of Circa. And the interesting thing, for those that don't know, it used to be called the Las Vegs Club. And the Las Vegas Club was a hotel and casino that we owned when I first moved out here in 2007. And we ultimately sold it in 2015 to Derek Stevens and his team. And it was demolished. It wasn't imploded. It was demolished because they ate it piece by piece with a crane. And we obviously now look across the street at this huge new endeavor that's coming to downtown Las Vegas. But what it was a very famous, iconic building, which is special to me because I actually lived in there. I lived in that building in 2007 for about 3 months. And I lived on the 15th floor. It was a penthouse, and it had a bed that was circular next to a hot tub, shower, bath in the middle of the room.
Wow.
And it was all sort of zebra print furniture and retro but unusual. And I lived there, so it was a very special place for me, and it was my first sort of home here in Las Vegas. So watching it get eaten piece by piece by a crane was a little traumatic. And we're here today with...
We are here today with someone who spent a lot of years working at the Las Vegas Club and now works at the Plaza. She's very near and dear to us all, a fabulous Plaza team member, our slot operations manager and longtime Las Vegas Club manager, Mary Myers. Welcome to On the Corner of Main Street.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm happy to be here.
Hi, Mary.
Hi.
Nice to see you. You know, one of the things when we started saying we're going to talk about the Las Vegas Club, I do want to just confess a regret right now in front of you, Mary, because I know how much you love the Las Vegas Club.
I loved it.
I know you love that place. And I have a regret, a small regret. I'm very excited about what it's to become across the street in Circa, and it's going to be great for downtown. I have a regret that I didn't know what I know now when I got my gaming license, and prior to that when we had the Las Vegas Club, because I think we could have done something pretty special with it ourselves. And the building was a good building. The brand was a great brand. Interestingly enough, we still own the brand. We own Las Vegas Club trademark. We didn't sell the Las Vegas Club. We sold the real estate. So we own Las Vegas Club. We could one day build a Las Vegas Club. We could one day reuse that brand in anything we wanted to do, whether here at the Plaza or somewhere else downtown. But I do regret not giving the Las Vegas Club a better chance at success, because it ultimately did need to probably be imploded when that time came, or demolished. But I do have that regret, Mary, so I'm sorry that we didn't revive your first...
That's okay. I'm here now at the Plaza, and I love the Plaza. I love working here.
Can you believe it's already been 5 years?
Amazing.
Since everything happened, you know? And now to see it go from a giant structure all the way down to a giant hole in the ground, all the way back up again in 5 years is pretty impressive.
They started their demolition in 2017.
Was that... Well, we sold it in October of 2015.
Yeah. And then it stayed there for a while. Remember, we wrapped the windows right before we shut the doors.
But no, I remember the closing night. I remember the night we shut it down. We had to give away all the progressives. And Mary was in the casino.
What do you mean you had to give away all the progressives?
So all the progressives on the machines that were still there either had to come over to the Plaza or be won on that night. So we put them all out on the floor, and then people that won them, and the ones that weren't won, there was one for $84,000, the Humpback Keno games.
Yes, I think it got up to 96.
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, you would know. You probably watched it going up every day.
This begs the question then, did you loosen the slots that night?
The Las Vegas Club slots were already pretty loose.
Yeah, they were.
They didn't need much loosening.
They did. They were.
Yeah, so it was end of August that we shut it down, and officially was sold in October. So I don't know when the demolition started, though, exactly.
2017, according to Wikipedia.
I went in there after they closed down, and it was it was sad. You looked around, everything was torn down and empty. And
What were you doing in there?
we went over to get things for the slot department, bring them
Oh.
over to the plaza.
That's right. Yeah,
Yes, we
we
were
had,
still
we had a
moving
deal
things
to do
around.
that.
I mean, there's that picture of you as well, Jonathan, sitting in the craps table on the night it closed.
Yes, I do remember that. And fans of the Las Vegas Club were asking me if they could take like posters home with them and slot toppers home with them. And we're like, yeah, take it all because it ain't going to be here for much longer. We even took the cashier cage sign out of there. The red neon cashier cage. I was at the Las Vegas Club, is now at the Plaza.
Wait, was there nothing at the cashier's cage at the plaza
It was,
before?
but it wasn't lit, and I wanted light. I wanted something not lit, as in the young people say, but it wasn't a light, and I wanted to have something that was a bit more
Eye-catching?
eye-catching. And so not everyone has to say where's the cage. Now you see the big red neon sign that says where the cage is.
Yeah,
And
I
it
remember
worked.
that.
What
Yes.
else came over from the Las Vegas Club besides the machines and the...
Mary.
I came over here, and actually most of our slot department is from the Las Vegas Club.
So actually, when the Las Vegas Club closed, we had a small team still there because the rooms were already shut down, and all we had really was the casino, the bars, and the security department, obviously, and the engineering. Now, the non-union positions, which were security and slots
The cage.
and the cage, I made a promise, not knowing that I could actually fulfill it, that they would all come over to the plaza. The union positions we couldn't do because of the seniority and other requirements, but the non-union positions, every single person from security, slots, and the cage was offered a position at the plaza, and they all came. And
Yes.
and in my mind, I was like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing. We're gonna have all this additional labor here at the plaza. But I knew that in people like Mary and Ratana and Arasa and Amanda, who am I missing? Melissa. Yeah, I knew
John,
that we
yes.
had. Was John over there as well?
John was there before I was, yeah.
Oh, we should have had John on the podcast.
Should have. That would have been a good one.
I knew that they had knowledge and customer relationships that, frankly, were more important than any expense. And they were people that loved the building. They loved the property. They loved downtown. They loved the company. And they were willing to
They were very loyal.
be loyal and work very
Yes.
hard with us. And Mary and her team have embodied that as they've come over to the plaza. And if I attribute a big portion of our success in slots in the casino since the Las Vegas Club closed, one of the big things was bringing over that team because they had the relationships. And we did bring over some of the coin games,
Yes,
which
in
are no
the
longer
beginning,
here.
they're no longer here. But it brought over the customers.
It did bring the customers
It
with
brought
them.
them all over here, and so that was nice.
Yeah, so
Well, there was a time where you were working at both properties, right? I mean, you were in a unique position where you would go back and forth across the street in order to take care of different tasks.
Right. We would come over to pay jackpots, or the management team would come over. Or there was a time even when the ambassadors were working both properties. And nobody was really too happy about it because it seemed like they were two different ideas on how customer service was. But eventually it all came about, and yeah, I remember walking across in the rain. Thanks, Jonathan.
to do what?
To go to the machines to help with on the floor. I don't think you were here yet. You were working for Tamaris.
Oh.
You were invisible.
Got it.
Yeah.
So how did you end up working at the Las Vegas Club? Where are you from, Mary?
I'm from Hawaii, and my auntie used to play as she was a pretty high roller there at the Vegas Club. And she introduced me to Steve Lehman, who offered me a job on 10/10/96, which was just the other day. I made 24 years with the company.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, one of our customers, Sue, she called to congratulate me on another year, and yeah, she remembered.
Uh-oh.
She did, yeah. So that was nice.
That's great. Well, that speaks to your relationships.
And it was the first job I applied for, and I got, and I stayed there. It was very interesting. They had
What year did you start there?
1996.
Give us an idea. I came in 2007, so that's 11 years earlier. What was the Las Vegas Club like back then?
Well, it was crazy. I had never seen anything like it, being from Hawaii. And, I mean, they were smoking in the cage while you worked and in the pit. And
Wow.
we had a shift manager. His name was Mr. Grant, and he wore jeans and he had a big belt buckle. And he would stand at the end of the machines, and he would smoke and drink his coffee every night. He was just the coolest thing ever. So I just thought, this is crazy that people are drinking. the dealers from the Binions, they used to come over on their break and go to the bar, which is in the back. It was called Casey's Bar, and have shots and drinks before going back to work across the street. I had never seen anything like it. But
So when I got there was the Great Moments room downstairs.
yes,
But the restaurant upstairs was closed.
that was the dugout. Before that, previously, the dugout was downstairs, right across from where they had moved the Players Club to. And we would eat in there. That was the helps, also part of the helps hall. So we would go in there to eat with the guests in this restaurant, and Jackie Gahn would be in there eating. He always ate wherever our helps hall moved to. He would come and eat. So I thought that was...
Hold on. And then what was the boxing ring upstairs?
That was also changed to the dugout later.
So
Before that, it was right downstairs where they had that little restaurant, the little snack bar.
Yeah.
Where the bats were. That was
What
the
bats?
dugout. There was the display.
Oh, you
of
mean like baseball bats?
Baseball
I thought
bats.
you meant like that.
Oh my gosh.
the bat display, yes.
Okay, got it. The bat display, yes. And that was down, I know exactly what you mean. And then then it became Tinoco's later on.
Yes. That was a little farther down. Tinoco's was great.
Tinoco's was my doing. That was later on.
Yes.
But in 1996, the dugout was where the boxing ring was upstairs?
Yes,
Or?
they moved it up there. The dugout was downstairs. They moved it upstairs, and they turned that into like a snack bar.
Okay.
And then there was the Great Moments room, which turned into Timoco's after.
Okay. And what else was in the Las Vegas Club?
Well, in the beginning, it was just full of machines, all coin machines. There was a bar in the back, the red bar, and they had a Casey's bar. The pit was on the north side of the casino, where the new construction came on. They had just recently built like a 16-story
Oh, that's
building, and I
right,
was
yeah.
hired for that addition. So
At the time, the Fremont Experience wasn't even
it was there.
fully built yet, right?
Yes, it was there, Gare.
Okay.
It was there.
Could you drive down it still?
No. You just walked out on it.
And it back then though, there wasn't the stages, there wasn't the outdoor bars,
No.
there wasn't the zip line. It was just a light show.
Yes.
I do remember that.
You could bring your kids out there. It was much different, just a light show. And they had a big sports bar,
Yeah, there was the big sports
Sports
book in the
book.
back. Yeah, which is ironic because this is what Circa is going to have is the biggest
Right.
sports book, and so they played off of that.
Well, Mel Exper was there then, and he was big on sports. So he kind of built this whole thing around the sports book. Mm-hmm. And everybody had their uniforms, cheerleaders for cocktail waitresses, referees for bartenders. I think we wore softball uniforms. But yeah.
And you mentioned him, but did you have any interactions with Jackie Gahn?
He would stand out. He would be there passing out complimentary dinners to the dugout or to the Great Moments.
Just randomly walking up to people.
Just randomly walking around, and
Oh, great.
yeah, it was cool. And after that, they had Barrick came in, and there was some changes there also. They eventually ended up closing the north side of the casino and turned that into a bunch of different things. There was the Amazing Jonathan.
No, that was also me. That was later on. That was the haunted house.
There was the acrobatics.
Yeah,
you weren't there.
No, I was there for the haunted house.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
With the Amazing Jonathan, we did that haunted house. It was quite the experience.
Yeah.
It was actually not a bad haunted house, just nobody went to it.
No, it was nice. It was huge.
Were people like hanging from their skin or something? I've heard stories about this.
Well, he said he was going to do that. He didn't actually do that, but he did do it was a pretty decent built out haunted house in the back of the Las Vegas Club, but that was when I was there. That was like, I think that was 2009.
Yeah. They had once they closed it down, they had like acrobatics. They were over the pit. They were in the back.
And we did move the bingo room over there in 2010 when we did the remodel here at the Plaza. I do remember that. But I think people don't realize this, but the Las Vegas Club was the first party pit downtown.
Really?
It was the first party pit. So we did the fetish pit.
Okay.
And
Yes.
and you remember
There was
that?
a pole,
Yeah.
and there was pole dancers.
Yeah,
and
and the girls
Did
dressed up.
who branded that?
I don't want to take credit for it, so I'll blame.
You play Mary if you want.
No,
It's all
no,
Mary's
no.
idea.
We thought it was
We
crazy too.
did-
It was called the Fetish
It was
Pit.
called the Fetish Pit, and it was actually the first casino downtown to do dancing girls. And we hired the agency, and the girls would come in. And this was, again, it was a small pit. There was the main pit, and then there was a small one that was just the fetish pit to the side. And that's where we would do the dancing girls. They would just work on swing shift and late night. And then eventually it was so successful that it grew into a bigger pit. And then ultimately everybody downtown started doing the dancing girls, and everyone on the strip. But the Las Vegas Club was actually the first one downtown to do it, and I would challenge anybody to tell me otherwise, but it was because I was here.
It was.
And
I agree.
And I think it's pretty cool because now it's pretty widespread, especially on the strip.
Right.
But yeah, downtown Las Vegas Club was the first one to do it down here.
Did any celebrities ever come into the Las Vegas Club?
Well, we used to see Martin Sheen. He would come in every once in a while. I seen Pauly Shore, and we had Egg McMahon, and he was promoting some of our casino events. So yeah,
We
there was a few.
we did work on rebranding the Las Vegas Club at one time to Slash's Vegas Club, and that was with Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Really?
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
And Slash came down here, and we had dinner in Firefly, which was what Oscars used to be. And then we were talking about doing the whole thing, and we had like Welcome to the Jungle pit. We had the each of the restaurants would be named after. It's kind of what Margaritaville for Jimmy Buffett is.
Yeah.
We were going to do that with Slash at the Las Vegas Club.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No,
Yeah,
well,
no.
it didn't proceed. I think the issue just came down to whether we felt like that was the right brand long term to align the place with, and it would have needed a big remodel, which is what the plan was at that time to do that. But that was probably our biggest idea that we had for the Las Vegas Club, was to partner with Slash and rebrand the whole place at the time.
Wow.
Do you remember the first time you met Jonathan?
I was introduced to him by my cousin. She worked in Tinoco's, and he would come in there. He was a young, handsome, quiet guy. I just knew he worked for Tamaris for a while, until he, of course, had that famous time where you pulled the plug. Do you remember that?
I pulled the plug on the music.
Yes, and the ceiling fell, and
We talked
I
about
was
that
there.
in a few other episodes,
I
right?
was there.
You were there?
I was
What's
there.
your side of the story, Mary? What happened?
Well, it was loud. It was extra loud. The girls were dancing. They had like a runway, and he went up, and I didn't see him go up there, but he pulled the plug, and everything just stopped. Everybody looked, and he just
It was Super
plugged
Bowl
it.
weekend.
He plugged it back in, and the ceiling fell, and it just carried on like nothing had happened.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the issue we have with the party pit girls, and we even had that here at the plazas, they always want to do their own music because they have to
Right.
perform and dance and whatever, and they always want their own music. And some of them would put on like heavy rap music
Yeah.
with explicit language,
Yes.
and which wasn't always the right fit. So we would argue over that, and then they would change it when no one was looking. And so I didn't know what I was doing, but I unplugged the iPod, and the sound system blew.
Yeah,
and
you became
piece
the
of-
guy.
a piece
who
of ceiling
unplugged.
fell out.
That guy.
He became that guy.
That's really your first memory of me, Mary?
No, that's just a funny memory.
Okay.
But then you started coming over, and you would talk to us. You would actually be on your phone a lot, looking intently into your phone. And then, no, he would be talking, and it was like he was just taking it all in. But when you talked to us, you were present at all times. It was like he was taking notes, son. Wrong?
I mean,
Now after that reaction, me and Gary aren't going to say anything.
Well, thank you for that great introduction,
No.
Mary.
No, you were really nice. Jonathan.
I will be the first to admit it that in 2011, 12, 13, I felt bad because the Las Vegas Club was an afterthought to the Plaza. I didn't get the same attention the Plaza did. The Plaza was always the real first opportunity, the golden opportunity, so to speak. And Las Vegas Club was always neglected. And I felt bad for people like yourself that had dedicated their career to that place, and it wasn't getting the help it needed. In fact, if anything, it was getting worse. I mean, we were putting gift shops in the front. We were closing down more restaurants. We closed down the rooms. We put the barricades to the back section. It was just getting less and less and less. And I'm amazed, frankly, that you even talked to me and stuck through it.
Towards the end, you were talking to us much more often, asking us our opinion on certain things. And I remember you promising that things are going to change, and we're all going to be a part of it, so don't be worried. And you told us each individually, personally, that he was going to bring us all here, and we were all kind of just scared and happy, and there were so many different emotions. And we came over here, and we were just like, okay, now here's a new beginning, you know. But he did save us all, so we're grateful.
Oh, thank you, Mary.
Yes,
Aw.
eternally grateful. Very loyal, if you noticed. All of the people here, they've been here longer than I have. Most of them. My department.
Yeah. Yep. So you are always on the casino floor, and guests love you. I work on the social media, and everyone always talks about you, Mary, on
Aw.
Facebook and Twitter. What is that relationship like with the guests that you have?
So some of them have been coming here for generations. For instance, the Knights. They had been coming from the beginning I was there till their children came, and then now their children's children come here, and they're still coming here. So we made friendships, and they're like family. So it's not just them. There's a lot of Mike and Gina. I mean, I knew them before they were married. They were wearing braces. They were just kids, you know. So
Well,
yeah.
It is a relationship business, and Mary's one of the best at developing those relationships,
Oh,
knowing her
thank you.
customers, and working in a way to continually improve and take back feedback. I do have a funny story. So at the Vegas Club, the equipment there was so old that one night I was at dinner and my phone starts ringing and I get a missed call, and then I was at dinner, so I didn't want to keep answering my phone because I'm not always on my phone, Mary. and I'm not taking my call, and then like the third call, and I'm like, oh God, what is this? So I answered, like, oh, we have a problem. The power's gone down at the Las Vegas Club.
Yes.
So I said, shoot, what do you mean the power's gone down? What about the backup generator? They're like, yeah, it failed. It didn't work, right? So the backup generator is supposed to fire up and everything keeps working. The Las Vegas Club was in pitch darkness.
Yes, it was.
There was nothing on.
when
Zero
was
lights.
this?
All the slot machines were up. This was probably a year before we sold it, so maybe 2014, end of 2013, I think.
Was
So
this
anyway,
a weekend? Was this a weekend
it
or weekday?
it was a Thursday night. It was not a weekend. It was a Thursday night. So
But it's picking up. It's picking
I
up for
have
the
to
weekend.
leave it was still busy with Fremont Street traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, I run out of my dinner. I run down here. I
I
get
was
here.
so happy to see you.
All the lights are off. Security's at the door telling people they can't come in, but the people were refusing to leave because they had money in the slot machines they didn't want to lose. And I look over at the pit, and one of our hosts is in the pit. Now, this host I've been trying to beg for the last, 2 years. I was saying to him, please go to the Las Vegas Club and walk the floor to sign up new customers, right? Because there's new customers always coming in from Fremont Street. Walk the floor, be present, get out there. And he would never do it. He was always at the plaza. He was always in his office. So finally, I get down here, and the lights are off. There's no one in there, and here's the host in the pit. I say, what are you doing? Oh, I came over to Las Vegas Club like you told me to. I said, yeah, the lights are off, and there's no one in here. You're supposed to be here when there's business. No. He's like, I'm just watching the place for us. I said, get out of here. Go back across the street. But we didn't get the power back up until the next morning. We were shut down that night. And it was good practice for closing the place down a couple of years, 18 months later. But we did have to pay out everyone on the machines and get all the information. It was something I had never experienced before, that's for sure.
I never did either.
Mary, how does that happen? What do you do in that type of situation? Just running the slot floor and then everything stops?
Well, we closed up all our money, went and helped the cage close their sections down. Everybody was escorted out except those who wouldn't leave. They had money in the machines. You also had to have a flashlight because you couldn't see.
It was pitch black.
It was pitch black. You couldn't see anything. So it caused a little bit of excitement, I guess, for us. We weren't used to things like that, but we worked through it. Jonathan came down. I was one of those who called. So yeah. He came down and.
Not that I could do anything.
No, but it helped. It made us feel a lot better.
It was definitely a new experience.
Yes.
But back to your point of the relationships, I was telling you that because of the host, but I do think that a big part of this business is that relationship of people knowing, like Mary knows a customer by name, she knows their family, she can ask them about them, she knows their favorite slot machine, she can tell them where it is, what they're looking for, if it's moved, she can tell them, she can have a personal connection with them, and that is so much more important than pretty much any other element of this business. So people like Mary are rare these days that dedicate 30 years to a business, and is it not that long?
24.
Was it 24 here?
24 at
Including here?
both properties.
Yeah. But also she's, some people when they play slots, they don't want to be disturbed and they like to be left alone, and it's about finding that balance. I mean, Mary, tell us how do you start a conversation with somebody new when they've just started playing slots?
We
Well, they
usually
look good.
we usually ask them if they want a player's card or if they're staying here to start up a conversation. And if they're willing to talk, then we start talking about, where are you from? What games do you like to play? And we also take a notice of how much they're playing. So we could be part of the reason why they come back. We bring them a host. We tell them about their perks, the promotions. And we've been having a lot of people that are saying, they're going to stay here. They normally stay at the Strip, but they're going to be staying here. And it's from people like myself and Gary and Jonathan, everybody going up and talking to them. Jonathan makes it a point to talk to the people on the floor all the time. And
I learned from you.
yes, I bring them over there and introduce them, and they're like, "This is crazy. That's the CEO." I said, "Yeah, I know he's in his sweatpants, but it
No,
just
I'm
came
not.
from
What are
the
you
chair."
saying?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But one of Mary's, kind of secret weapons is she has a great memory. She does not forget anything. I mean, she comes back and tells me stories from
About yourself.
5 years ago when we used to share an office. So when you have specific guests that are on the casino floor, you remember the little things that create that personal touch. And Mary remembered that for me and keeps
Yeah,
that relationship
keeps-
building.
Yeah, Gary, remind
Where do
remind
you-
everybody.
Yeah, you remember way too many things about
Where
me.
do you like to gamble, Mary? Where do you go out? I know you gamble, so
I
go
do
on.
gamble. I usually go up to the Rampart, just close to my house.
You play bingo?
I play bingo. I play a little slots.
Not as good as our Super Bingo, of course.
No, because I can't play here. So if I could, I would. But I can't. So I do up there. I don't play very much. I think I used to play a lot more. And now.
What are your job responsibilities as a slot operations manager?
So we generally, all the slot managers in the slot department try to keep in compliance with gaming so that Jonathan don't get fined or none of the people get fined here. We actually watch over the money and try and keep him safe from these
In
people.
compliance.
Yes, not just in compliance. We have promotions that people try to take advantage
Oh,
of.
yeah,
and
Mary was there with your tax day promotion.
Yeah, thanks,
when
Lisa.
she-
That
That
was
was to you,
great.
Gary. He's talking to you.
It was lovely. Yeah. I mean, there wasn't just that one. There was the double royals I was here for.
Oh, yeah, that was bad,
That was
yeah.
bad.
What's the double
What was the double
royals? Why don't we hear about this one?
Sorry.
That's okay. They're all learning experiences that make us who we
Was
are
this
today.
another one of Jonathan's ideas?
I'm not sure whose idea it was. It
No.
couldn't have been Jonathan's.
I know whose idea it was.
And we were paying double royals and went down to, I think, up to 2,000, if I wasn't mistaken. And then eventually it was topped off at 1,000 because it was not good. But the promotion ran through, and we had some new customers that
We
came
don't,
in.
We don't want any more.
Now I've seen some of them here today, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Good.
I've
yeah.
seen some of them here today.
I would say, so go on, Mary, tell us more about your responsibilities, because I think that, you pay out jackpots, and that's something we just met about recently in terms of trying to speed that up. I think it's an industry known problem not problem, I mean, it's the law, but $1,200 is just too low to be a taxable amount.
Right.
You know what I mean? People that are betting $30, $40, $50 on a spin are hitting taxable sometimes multiple times an hour, and then they got to wait for the paperwork and everything for $1,200. And there's a lot of lobbying and argument that jackpot number should actually be close to 5,000.
Right.
That would make your life much easier.
It would make my life much easier, but I guess
less
we would,
tips, of course.
yes, there would be less money involved, but no, we don't just do that. We keep the casino clean. We keep the tickets in the machines. We help with player development. We try and make everybody's vacation or their experience here positive, so they'll keep coming back. Not only do I hand out my cards, there's the cards of the hosts, and we introduce them to the cocktail waitresses, and so it becomes like a big family thing. We've come across some new clientele that's come across. Right now we have a lot of different people with different spending habits, but we are forming relationships with them also.
You know, one thing that we talk about a lot is, you mentioned cleaning the casino, but I like the idea that you guys are an extra set of eyes and ears for, keeping the carpet looking good, or the chairs are tucked in at the machines or in the right position, especially now with the pandemic protocols. We have to have every second slot machine making sure chairs aren't moved around and people aren't sitting too close together. And then also, of course, the buttons on the machines, making sure they're all working. That was one of my pet peeves when I first took over, that machines had sticky buttons or sticky screens. Make sure it's clean and constantly maintained, and you guys have done a great job of that. I think we have the best slot floor in downtown.
I do
and
too.
it's not just because of the product, it's because of the maintenance of that product and upkeep. So good on you.
Thank you.
I mean, since COVID, you guys have been cleaning the machines.
Well, we've been cleaning the machines. We're actually running with a little shorter staff, so we clean the machines when we can. We have less machines now, but we work together with EVS and all the departments. I mean, I see Jay out there wiping machines from time to time and picking up trash, and Jonathan out there just... So I see everybody.
Jonathan out there just looking at his phone?
No, Jonathan, stop.
In his sweatpants.
I'm sorry. That's not the only way I see you. You know that, boss.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So going back, I do think there was a defining moment for the Las Vegas Club because it wasn't necessarily worse than some of the other properties on Fremont Street Experience. I do think, though, from our perspective as well, and it was prior to me coming here, the issue that Las Vegas Club had with the Fremont Street Experience board and then being removed from there was a big issue, and not necessarily the final nail in the coffin, but perhaps a big one, in that it just lost its votes, it lost its participation, and then ultimately was the sort of outcast on the street. And I think that was an unfortunate moment in the history of the Las Vegas Club, that it lost that portion of it. They would do to try to block the visual of it, and the traffic to it was difficult.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it got pretty bad. But I mean...
And then there was the building of the zip line structure.
Yeah, of
that
course.
was huge.
Right.
So.
Yep, as we look at it right now.
So, is watching Circa being built as traumatic for you as it is for Jonathan?
Well, I think the tearing down of it, like he said, they were just chewing away. It was like a monster just eating at it. I would take pictures all the time. And I would talk to Jonathan on the floor. He'd say, "I know you love the Vegas Club. You'll love the Plaza." And I do. I love the Plaza here, but it made me sad. It kind of is nice to see that it's coming full circle and it's going to be sports themed again.
Right.
But yeah, it doesn't remind me of the Vegas Club at all anymore.
No.
No.
Did you ever go down to the basement of the Vegas Club?
Oh yeah, it was
That
the
was the
dungeon. We
best.
called it the dungeon.
So there was the laundry room down there. There was the
Coin-
count room,
yes.
the coin room, and then there was the beverage room,
And there was the locker room.
and there was a locker room. My God, what a basement that was!
Both sides.
I would have loved to have done a secret bar down there one day. There was no
There was a
basement.
lot of secret things
There's-
probably going on down there. It was crazy. Yeah.
There's no underground like that here at the Plaza, but that was a great basement,
It was damp.
and it had a
musty
secret trap
and-
door that went out to Fremont Street.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, there was a door, and they also had they had a secret door in the casino that went down to the basement, and then there was a corridor underground that went up into Fremont Street. But then there was also above the pit was the executive offices, and they had the catwalk with the glass. So you could sit in your
Yeah, you could
office
sit
and
in your
watch
office.
the blackjack games through the glass going on.
Just
Yeah.
as like we were looking out the window here, it was like that there. I don't remember why I was up there, but I thought, wow.
The catwalk?
This is gangster up here.
Well, they didn't have
Just-
surveillance
Well, right.
back
They didn't
then.
have surveillance, but I guess this
Well,
is
they didn't have surveillance.
2000s.
No, back
Early
in when they built it back in like the
Right.
60s, 70s, they
Yeah.
didn't have the surveillance, so they had catwalks, which is why that's how they watched the games, to make sure no one was cheating. Now, of course, then later on they were redundant, but the glass is still there. You still have the catwalk here at the Plaza. You can still go into the eye and walk above the blackjack tables and see through the glass of people still playing.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yes, very cool.
So Lisa, everybody wants to know what happened to the memorabilia from the Las Vegas Club, because I don't remember that we sold it here at the Plaza in a gallery. I still have one item. Did you take any souvenirs out of there?
I had a little pack of cards that I still have. And I said I had some chips that you gave me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
If anyone's listening to the podcast, you can email Lisa and get chips, Las Vegas Club chips. We can give away
Podcast at plazahotelcasino.com.
we can give away chips to anyone that emails and requests. We'll give you a full set of a 1, a 5, a 25, and a 100. think we have all of those. And anyway, interesting stories was that I was driving down Main Street about a year and a half ago in the Arts District, and I recognized an A. And the A was the A in Las Vegas Club neon logo on our building. And I looked at it, and it was an A, but now it had been used for the word alley. So it was A and then L-L-E-Y as the rest of the word, not in the same font. Fitness, and it's a Pilates studio on Main Street where I now do Pilates once a week. And I went in there and I said to the girl, why do you have this A? And she said, oh, I bought it on eBay. I said, you know what this A is? And she said, yeah, it's an A for my name, Ali. And I said, right, but do you know where this came from? She's like, yeah, I heard it was like an old sign in Vegas. It was the A from Las Vegas Club that was sold on eBay when we when it got
sold
demolished. We never removed that sign because it was one of the. So we did give a sign to the Neon Museum, but those individual letters were sold off one by Derek on eBay. They did an auction and they sold them off, and they sold them letter by letter. And the A ended up in downtown Las Vegas on the Pilates studio.
Where's the L? I want the L.
I don't know where that is. Look on eBay. Maybe it's still there.
So reading the history of Las Vegas Club and how when it sold to Derek Stevens, there was a few like 8 hours in the middle where they had to open up the closed Las Vegas Club to maintain the gaming license. Mm-hmm. Was that your gaming license? Was that Derek's? How did the gaming license get transferred? How does that work?
Well, it was different because we shut it down. So because the deal with Derek was you can keep the Las Vegas Club brand, you can keep all the gaming equipment.
The brand?
Yeah, Las Vegas Club. We kept the brand.
Oh, okay.
You can keep the brand, you can keep the equipment, and you can keep the database. We didn't want to give him the database. We didn't want to give him the brand. Right. And all he wanted was the building. So it worked out well for both of us. So the deal was, he didn't want to deal with closing it down and all the employees and everything else. So the deal was shut it down and give it to me, and it'll be closed. I'll just buy the real estate, and then in due course, I'll apply for the gaming license, which he did, and obviously got approved. So we didn't... The gaming license doesn't go with me. It stays on the real estate. It stays on the property. Does that make sense? So then he was just entitled to apply for that gaming license and got approved. And then I believe it was just a couple of weeks ago he got Circa approved under the gaming license.
But he had to have a temporary casino put up for a few hours.
Yeah, you have to open 15 machines. Right. I think it's maybe it's every quarter, or maybe it's twice a year. But there is a specific requirement for that. We used to have to do that at the Nevada Club when we still had that, which was then sold to the Golden Nugget. But I think it was every 6 months that you have to open up 15 machines just to preserve your license. Right. And it has to be open to the public so people could come in and play it in theory.
Did you go over there, Mary, and play the 15 slot machines?
No, I did not. No.
If I recall, they did it like in a trailer because the actual location was being demolished.
Oh, really?
So it was done back in a trailer, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Mary, what are some of your memories of the Las Vegas Club? Do you have any memories that stick out over the years?
I have a lot of memories there. I made a lot of friendships and a lot of it was a fun place to work. I mean, it went from being just so busy that you just ran around and you really didn't even know your name. You were running around so quickly, and it turned into I'm going to call it a ghetto fabulous little life there in the end. Interesting. We would walk around. We would ask people to sign up for cards. And little did I know, a lot of the people I was asking, I would say they're here every night. They were probably working, you know. We were next to Glitter Gulch, which I remember they had an alley that the paddy wagon would pull up to. And there would be arrests and... It was crazy.
A lot of those ladies were good gamblers, though.
They were very good gamblers. Got them all signed up for you, Jonathan.
Do you have any plans to retire?
Oh, well, wow. I keep telling Jonathan, well, eventually I'll retire. And he said, no, you're not retiring. So I said, well, I'll work till I'm 134 and then that's it. I'm not giving another year.
I don't want people like Mary to retire because there's not many like her and they don't come like that anymore. The young generation isn't as loyal and dedicated to individual places, although you two are an exception to that. And it's tough to recreate that loyalty and that familiarity. And I feel strongly that when somebody comes here, I don't want them to have to meet somebody new each time.
Right.
I want them to know Mary. I want them to know Gary at the front desk. I want them to see you and say, "Oh, I know you," and you can rekindle your conversation. I think that's an important part of our business. And so when people like Mary start talking about retirement, I get very upset and say no.
He says, no, I can't do
Although
it.
I do like that we have your niece here, and
I have
she's
two of my family members that work here.
both
and
of them in bingo.
They both of them, and they love it here as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I mean, why would you bring your family unless it was a terrific place to work at? They love it here also.
And I think we're very happy. I think the Las Vegas Club closing was a blessing for the Plaza in many ways, because it allowed us as a management company to focus on one place. It allowed us to move our database just to the Plaza instead of spreading it over the two places. It allowed us to bring over the games over there. I didn't know much about slots at the time. I've learned that over the last 5 years. But at the time, the slot product at the Las Vegas Club was terrible, with the exception of the coin games that did well, but that wasn't enough. And now, of course, knowing what I know, I think we could have done a better job with that. But closing it down was really a turning point for the Plaza. And if you look at the history of the Plaza's performance since I've taken over, that was a moment in which we've started to see the improvements. And I think a lot of that is bringing over people like Mary and the team, bringing over that database, bringing over that slot product, the coin games, which really gave us a lot more to focus on here at the Plaza. And it's been beneficial to us. And now with the opening across the street, I think it'll be even more beneficial to us.
I do too. I think it'll help
future's
the
bright.
growth.
The future's bright. The future's neon.
We're excited to see what Circa has to offer.
Yeah.
I did see this morning the light bulbs at Circa. So I think you told me, Gary, they copied us. And I was like, nah, they just got the light bulbs on the side of the building. But I did see in their porte cochere they have the light bulbs like we have under the dome, which looks very good. And imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Well, Mary, thank you so much for joining us on the corner of Main Street. Feel free to look for Mary next time you're here at the Plaza on the casino floor. I'm sure she'll be there.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
We'll be back again soon. But in the meantime, follow us on social. On Twitter and Instagram, it's at Plaza Pod. And on Facebook, find us at Plaza Podcast. Or go right to the top and tweet Jonathan at Jonathan Jossel. We'll see you next time from right here on the corner of Main Street.